Sounds like you did a terrific job of developing and maintaining a social network to be able to communicate and know where people were all these different times, to be able to coordinate these, let's call them higher stakes games.
Yes, yes, I did. And that came very naturally to me, Jim. It was, and a lot of people helped me along the way, I must say. Some of these guys, they really had no incentive in helping me. They introduced me to other people many times. And uh, th there's a very important point that I want to iterate here. My experience has been that people are so nice, Jim. If you just go and ask, oftentimes we don't go and ask. And what you don't ask, you don't get.
Right.
So I remember this particular time I went to a guy's house and he was a part of a social circle. He knew almost all the players. And this guy is a billionaire, right? He's got properties well over $1 billion. He's got, other businesses and all that. And I had met him once in a poker game. And I had just told him what a nice watch you have. And he quietly told me, like, I recently bought it at an auction for $2 million. And I said, that's just amazing. And his watch was a Richard Mille. So I don't know if you know the brand Richard Mille. So Richard Mille is a brand that has limited watches. So why the watches are so expensive is, so Richard Mille is a guy that will make a watch, but he will only make, let's say, 12 of those, or 80 of those, or 200 of those. So each watch has a number. It will say 1 of 200, 7 of 200,
Right.
like that. And his watch that he had was 1 of 1, which meant it was a unique piece.
Right.
That was the only one of a kind watch in the world. There was no other watch like that. And it was a very expensive watch. And I had spoken to him, about his watch, and I was admiring his style, and he had panache, and his way of being was just so exquisite that I had just introduced myself and said hi. And then one day I went back to that city where he was, and I just gave him a call, and he said hello, and I said hello, and he didn't remember me. And then I reminded him that I met you at this game and we spoke about the watch, and he said, oh yes, how are you? And I said, I'm great. I just wanted to come and meet you. And he said, sure, come over for lunch. And I just went to his house, and he said, yeah, why did you want to meet me? Well, I said, and this house, by the way, his house was like a palace. It was better than any hotel that I had been to. It was like Four Seasons hotel in front of this house was like an embarrassment. It was so beautiful, his house.
Yes.
The food at his house was better than any restaurant food that I had ever had. It was just wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at this guy and I said, I want to organize poker games. And I used to organize, I was just honest with him. I said, I organize smaller games in India, and I'm here now, and I will work honestly, and I will work hard, and I will make sure I pay everyone on time. And I would like you to support me if you can in my game. And I just went and asked for it. And I remember my partner was so baffled that I did this. And this guy said, absolutely, I'll support you, and I'll introduce you to everyone. And I actually went there to ask him to be my partner or something. I said, well, I'll give you a piece from the game. Let's be partners 50-50. And he said, I'm not a poker game organizer, so I don't need to do that, but I'll help you anyway. So he basically just rejected the share and just helped me anyway. And so this guy didn't have to help me, but just because I asked nicely, he did. And a lot of the times we hesitate and we don't take that step. And if we would, you'd be surprised how many people would help you.
Well, I think you're identifying a fabulous point, Shakti. And I believe that the majority of folks, there's an inhibitedness, there's a shyness, there's a lack of desire to go outright and just ask, because so many people, I believe, would say, yeah, but what if I get rejected? Instead of just asking, as what you just did.
So I'll give you another example of this principle, Jim. So I came from a middle-class family, right? I struggled with the most basic things, like I couldn't buy an Apple laptop or like a nice phone that I wanted. And my friends had seen me grow up. And then suddenly in my 20s, I made a lot of money in poker and all. in other things as well. Like right now I make money from investing, from so many things. And you'd think that my older friends would come to me and ask me like, hey man, how did you do it? Can you teach me, or can you show me, or can I work with you, can you help? And do you know how many people came to me in the last 11 years?
Oh,
One.
one.
Yeah. And this one guy came to me. He said, I'm just broke, I have no money, and I'll do anything you say, and I would just like to make money, and please can you teach me, and I would help you, I'll work for you for free, whatever you like. And he was a friend of my brother's, and I said, sure, just start coming uh, with me to the games, and I'll teach you what I know. And then he became kind of my assistant, and then he became like my manager, and he started managing all of my operations. Within 6 months, he was making, I think, like $10,000 a month, something like that, which was just um, amazing for him. His whole life changed, and now he has his own gambling operation, and he does things on his own now. Um, and yeah, like it's just because he came to me, and this guy, I didn't know him. He was not my friend. I had never met him, nothing. But he just came, and he asked and he offered, and I showed him. There were so many people, like so many friends of mine that were actual real friends of mine, that I would, you know, do so much for them, but nobody ever asked.